Hello again, my most esteemed viewers. I am Jekyllstein Gray, and welcome to episode 2 of Jekyllstein Gray Talks. I don't know why I'm doing this very calming voice. So last night I recorded actually ended up being a really personal episode about lessons animation taught us, and I kind of sent it to Movies with Mikey as a joke, and he actually liked the tweet I sent, and in my world that's like a eee moment, like a celebrity acknowledged my existence. Yeah, so I'm still gonna do part 2 of that. That's in the works, but if you know me, you know I can't really stay on one topic for very long. This was what I was originally going to do to open this talk series. I want to talk about 5 different. I'm gonna do a parody on not a parody, but a kind of a parody, I guess. Anyway, I'm gonna not a different version of the trailer reaction video. So I'm actually gonna watch a bunch of trailers kind of in succession, and we're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about them. One after another. So we've got the Batman, which is probably what I'm going to be talking about the most. And then we're going to be talking about Watchmen. And then, I want to basically, when I first saw the trailer for the Batman, I was like, this reminds me of something. And then I was like, oh, it reminds me of the trailers for Watchmen 2019. I haven't seen those in about a year since, I've actually seen the show, which you should go watch. It's really good. And after the first couple of episodes, it kind of takes a bit to really get going, but it's really good. So we've got the we're gonna watch the Batman trailer and then the old Watchmen trailer, just as a point of comparison, and then trailer for Wonder Woman 1984, and then Dune, and then Black Widow. So let us transition. I got my fancy new OBS software going. So we are going to transition to a new scene. And let's get started on the Batman. Let's skip this ad. Come on. I do want to talk about the Mandalorian trailer, but that'll probably be another day. So we have this tape sound, and this kind of reminds me of the ticking that I remember from the Watchmen trailers. Humble. I'm already a frequent customer of yours. Don't need to continue to advertise. So we got No More Lies. It looks like they're going with a interesting idea for a villain. I've seen this several times. I don't know if you can hear it. I'm sure you've already seen the trailer for watching this. So we got the guy who plays BT from the Hunger Games movies as Commissioner Gordon. I didn't ever think of him as that role, but I think he, looking back now, it makes sense. Also, his mustache reminds me of Lando Calrissian. So we have a villain who speaks in rhymes, kind of like Gruntilda, although that's probably the only Banjo-Kazooie comparison that will be in this movie. You've got Robert Pattinson over there. I'm sure I'm not the first person to use that name, but I do actually. I have, as far as I can remember, I have not heard anyone else use it. But again, I didn't coin the phrase. I'm positive. Please don't lie. Do not lie. What is the price for your blind eye? I'm going to be talking about that a lot recently. So I also do want to talk about, strange enough, Robert Pattinson's physique, but probably not, for reasons that you would assume. If you're a longtime fan of the show, you can probably, I guess, what. But then again, I don't really have that many long-term fans right now. Yeah, so here we go. The Batman. It kind of, I always think of the animated show, not the animated series, but it was a show called the Batman that my cousins apparently watched when they were younger. I'm gonna bring up cousins a lot on this show. Again, I have a lot of them, and they were all kind of, not all of them, but a lot of them were really integral to a lot of my media stuff. So let's see how much. Let's see. All right, we got a couple. I'm not gonna try and skip this. So yeah, I am really excited for this one. More than I was expecting. I was just kind of like, it's gonna, I was kind of done with superhero movies, and then I saw the trailer for the Batman and Wonder Woman 1984, and I was like, okay, I'm back in for now. I relapsed. Okay, so here we go. Here we have a thing of Hooded Justice. Interesting if you have actually seen the show. Looking Glass is one of my favorite characters. Yeah. So, this isn't the one I was thinking of. I think I was thinking of the teaser trailer for I'd Officially Declared Dead. Again, kind of funny if you've seen the show. Look at it. Look at that guy. He's, Angela Abar is amazing, and her Sister Night costume is awesome. So, I think I was thinking of the teaser trailer where there's a tick-tock, tick-tock, I think in reference to, like, the Doomsday Clock. Look at that thing. That guy's a Crawford. He's also a bastard. Not like Jon Snow. I shouldn't use that as an insult. He's an asshole. That's a bit too soft of a word, but, I don't want to give too much away. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff about masks and the cops wearing masks, which is interesting. I need to rewatch this. Yeah, so you've got the smile. Of course, you gotta have the smiley face. There's another person who, if you haven't seen the show, you don't know that lady. Did she say her name? Heisenberg now. I don't know if she said her name or not. This is also the John Oliver mentioned this about Tulsa. It opens with the Tulsa Massacre, which, like a lot of white Americans and white people in general, that was the moment where the show was really started to get interesting for me. Like a lot of white Americans, I had no idea about what happened in Tulsa. And John Oliver brought it up. And how did this sound? You can still hear me, but what happened? That's so weird. Huh. I wonder if it was whatever. It's not, as long as you can hear me. Oh, there we go. Huh. Yeah, so, oh, that was too loud. Didn't know what happened there. That was weird. I wonder if it was a recording overload. Yeah, so, again, having seen the show, a lot of this is really interesting. Again, the show is very, I couldn't believe how much I liked it, because I was really excited, and then I saw the first episode and I was like, I'm really disappointed, but it's still interesting. I might keep watching. And then in episode 5, I was like, holy shit, how did this get so good all of a sudden? I've never seen a show that, all right, I should probably switch to Wonder Woman, but I've never seen a show that increased so drastically in quality so suddenly in the single season. So yeah. So I adored the first Wonder Woman movie. It does have if I had one complaint, it does have what I call Batman Begins-itis or Batman Begins syndrome, which is amazing first and second acts, and then the third act is kind of lackluster, and then it picks up again. It's a pretty minor point. I love Batman Begins, and I love Wonder Woman, so, yeah. We got 80s nostalgia. We have Kristen Wiig, who I didn't know. So I saw like the second trailer first, and I don't think it ever shows or doesn't explicitly say, "Hey, he's back." It doesn't ever explicitly say that she is the cheetah. So sorry. Anyway, so I thought she was just going to be like the comic relief friend. I have thoughts about Steve Trevor coming back. I like that twirly lasso thing. So I didn't think she was gonna be the cheetah. I thought she was just gonna be like, again, comic relief friend. I also am gonna talk about Kristen Wiig again, like not negatively, but I don't know. Yeah. So the Pedro Pascal, Oberyn's alive again. I have not gotten over Oberyn's death in Game of Spoilers for like season 4 of Game of Thrones. I have not gotten over. I haven't gotten over Oberyn's death. So every time, seeing his face in like The Mandalorian was awesome. Every time, anytime Pedro Pascal is in something, I want to see it because I was like, oh, he's okay. He's okay. He wasn't. None of it was real. But man, it felt real. I actually do really hate it's okay, it wasn't. No, we got a new outfit. I actually really hate it wasn't real. It doesn't matter because if it didn't feel real, we got some comic relief. If it didn't feel real, it wouldn't affect us, right? Like obviously we know it's not real, but it feels real. Let's see. So we got Dune, made by a director whose name I can't pronounce. So this is interesting. I have very little familiarity with the source material. I basically know space cocaine, like space cocaine, sandworms, Arrakis, Dune, generally just vague iconography stuff. I am a fan of the director of this movie. One of my friends, a guy on Over the Fourth Wall, he is a huge fan, and like Blade Runner 2049 is one of his favorite movies, and I can definitely see why. He also this director is one of those directors who like I respect a lot. I think that they're very talented with their craft. I also am not like a super, it's not like, there's like Guillermo del Toro who like all his stuff I just love, especially Pan's Labyrinth, and I'll totally like, I want to watch whatever he makes. First Beyond of the Day, what else is new? But I don't really know, this director. Obviously not personally, but I don't really know of his work really well. I watched Arrival and Blade Runner 2049, which I guess were his big things. They were great. My God. Sorry. Again, he's more of a guy who I respect rather than a director who I love. Yeah. He's kind of like Alfonso Cuarón, although Alfonso Cuarón I have personal issues with. He did work for Autism Speaks, which is like the worst. It's a hate group that's disguised as a charity that basically takes money from parents and uses it to pay their CEOs a lot of money. Way more than they deserve, and it's all tax-free. So that's the overview. And he did a documentary for them, and it wasn't just a case of aspiring filmmaker who takes any job he can get, because he had already done Prisoner of Azkaban at that point. I have no idea, honestly, why he made. I think it's called I Am Autism. I have no idea why he made that. If he has publicly apologized and renounced it and made efforts to fix the damage that he's done, great. I don't want to hold a grudge against Alfonso Cuarón. I think he's a master at his craft. He is really good at what he does. Again, though, it's kind of hard to watch his stuff for me. Anyway, so that started off as a discussion of Dune, and then ended up about Alfonso Cuarón, who, as far as I know, has no involvement in anything Dune related. So that's fun. So we got Black Widow, and it kind of feels this movie is interesting. You know, a lot of people, especially my family, have been talking about like, oh man, a Black Widow movie would be so cool. And it wasn't just because we need more female superheroes, although that's definitely the case. I mean, yes, she was in other stuff, but she didn't get her own movie. But also because, again, there's some really interesting story here. This could be like a spy thriller or whatnot. But at this point, I am still a bit burned out. I'm definitely planning on watching this. But I am a bit like burned out about Marvel movies. Maybe this movie will. It's funny because this trailer doesn't excite me in the same way that the trailer for the Batman did or for Wonder Woman 1984. But yeah, again, intriguing. I'll definitely give it a watch. It's been several months since May 1st, and they decided to delay it for good and obvious reasons. And there's the dog barking. I don't know if you can hear her. Yeah, so I don't have much to say. I am not familiar like at all with the comics of with the Wonder Woman comics. So again, I don't really know. Not the Wonder. I am unfamiliar with Wonder Woman comics, but I am very unfamiliar with pretty much everything Marvel's done. I've read a little bit here and there, but I mostly just know Marvel by the MCU. Yeah, I know, not a real geek. Sorry, I was checking to make sure the volume on this thing was okay. I'm worried about moving it with my thumb. Yeah, I know, not a real geek. But yeah, so we got this cool little. I hope there's as little spider imagery as possible, because if you're watching this for the first time, I am a huge arachnophobe. I do. So David Harbour's it'll be interesting to see. I think he's a decent actor. I haven't seen him outside of Stranger Things, as far as I know. All right, I think that's everything. So I'm gonna finish up. Oh, I need to watch the trailer for The Witcher. There's Rosie. There's the dog. Yeah. So all right, looks like things are still going well. All right, let's do this. Exit studio mode. So thoughts. Well, first of all, I want to finish my thought on David Harbour and then jump to the Batman. Again, I don't really know David Harbour from anything other than Stranger Things. I'm sorry about the dog. She's a real yapper, and I really, it was either like dealing with the possibility that she's gonna bark or just not recording anything at all. So I figured, I might as well record. So yeah, I don't really know of David Harbour from. There's again background noise. Sorry, I'll put it closer to my mouth. I don't know if that'll help anything, but I might as well try. So I don't know of David Harbour from anything. I didn't like his character from season 3. I should actually do a video about that. I'm not a huge Stranger Things stan either. Like, I like it, and I've seen all of it so far, but I'm not like, yay, and I'm not like super looking forward to all the other seasons. Yeah, so the Batman. So first of all, I just need to lay down my Batman credentials. I have always been kind of a Fairweather fan-ish, I'm not a super huge Bat fan. I've read all kind of the big name comics with the exception of The Killing Joke, which I should read and then like do one of these videos about. So I read Dark Knight Returns, Year One, Long Halloween, Hush. I have not read Under the Red Hood. What else is there? There's probably something I'm forgetting that I didn't mention. And I've seen obviously the Christopher Nolan movies. I've seen a decent chunk of the animated series. Seen Mask of the Phantasm, which I absolutely adored, and I really need to talk about on on the future installments of my Lessons Animation Taught Us series. So yeah, okay, so there. Oh yeah, Christopher Nolan movies. I've seen all the DCEU movies up to Justice League. I know that I've heard that they get better after Justice League. Obviously, Wonder Woman is great. I actually Batman v Superman is a movie that I say that I basically describe as I liked it. I did not think it was good. I enjoyed myself viewing it, but it was terrible. It was a mess. Suicide Squad was abysmal. It was like I hated it. There was like a couple of funny lines and cute moments, but like seriously, I am willing to kind of put up with a lot in bad movies. I was not. I couldn't do. Sorry. I could not do Suicide Squad. It was awful. Man of Steel I enjoyed. I think again there was more wasted potential there than I think the other DCU movies. I actually don't mind Superman like breaking Zod's neck. I think that at least not at least not like on paper. I think it's I feel like he's justified. The guy's gonna kill 5 people, and I think he's justified in stopping Zod, and the only way to really stop him is to kill him. And I like his like no reaction. That being said, there are still plenty of issues with the movie. The whole destruction of Metropolis was really reminiscent of 9/11, which I don't understand why filmmakers are keen to do. There was that. The DCU is a whole mess because there was no plan. The MCU. Sorry DCU tribalists, and yes, I have seen Renegade Cuts series on the DCEU. And sorry tribalists, the Marvel I prefer DC heroes in general. I like if you and DC movies are consistently are I feel like Marvel movies are generally they have a very narrow band of qualities. Like down here you've got like Thor: The Dark World or something, or one of the generally the Incredible Hulk or Iron Man 2, one of the generally less considered. And then up here you've got like Black Panther or Civil War or the Winter Soldier or something like that. But they're all kind of in this band, and then with DC, it's like up here. So up here you got like Dark Knight, Mask of the Phantasm, Wonder Woman, and then down here you've got Suicide Squad. And oh man, I really wish they would make a Catwoman movie. They have not made a Catwoman movie up to this point. Halle Berry should play Catwoman. She should. She has not done that before. There is no Catwoman movie. There is no Catwoman movie. I actually haven't seen the Catwoman movie. I also kind of am if it movies that are generally that reviled are probably as bad as people say. I actually should talk about it if I actually give it a watch. Yeah, so let me see. Okay, so that was a big DC tangent. You know me, I do tangents all the time. My mind makes connections and I follow them. That's what I said yesterday, or technically earlier today, but take your rabbit pen with you. So I need to get the poster set up to make the wall look less bad, less blank, and I got the bookshelf, which I guess is nice, but I've got posters. I just haven't set them up yet. So anyway, so the Batman trailer. So I am actually really interested. I am hopeful about the Riddler. I think that I've always felt like the Riddler is a character that had a lot of potential, but they never really got right. Again, I haven't read all the comics, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I am wrong. But I think that the again, he always felt off. He always felt like he was like he was just underutilized. I mean, he was just an excuse to have collectibles in the Arkham games. He was there in the animated series, and he was interesting. I guess he had some fun puzzle stuff, but they never really, I feel like, went into sufficient depth, with one exception. Corey Michael Smith's portrayal in Gotham really, I think it was really good, and he really got to me. So Gotham, there will be some minor, I guess there will be some minor semi-Gotham spoilers. For those who don't know, Gotham is a TV show that takes place basically, and like opens with Bruce Wayne's parents' deaths, but instead of like jumping to now he's Batman, it like goes on, it talks about the investigation, and it's a prequel series basically, and they go into the backstories of a lot of the villains, and so you've got and I've seen the first 2.5 seasons, basically. Watched season 1, it's pretty good. Season 2 was like, holy shit, this is actually really good. And then season 3 was a bit, I think it was less boring than I kind of felt bored with season 1. Season 3 was less boring, but also like not as good as season 2. At least the first half that I saw. So, yeah, I need to, sorry. I do like Alfred in those quick aside. He's an interesting Alfred. He actually kind of reminds me of a teacher I had in when I lived in Germany for a year. He was actually kind of famous-ish. I mean, he had like a book, and there was a whole. His name was Valentin Vemba. Yeah, I'm sure none of you guys have ever heard of him. Anyway, he just, I don't know, the Alfred in that show kind of reminds me of him. And he's an interesting Alfred because he's much more, he's gruffer. He's less like refined Englishman and more like, I am a English warrior through and through, or something, which I guess the English military has some issues. I mean, these days, the problems with the American military. Yeah, anyway, sorry. Again, I will just go on huge tangents, and then I'll try and rein it back in. So, Corey Michael Smith is amazing. He does a fantastic job on the Riddler because he's very, like, he starts off as just a total good guy. Like he's like nerdy and a bit unputting, but also, really, like, kind of sweet, and, he wants to help, and again, he kind of feels like he's on the spectrum, and again, obviously that's not an insult. I'm on the spectrum, and I talked about it, and I hate Autism Speaks because they try and make it sound like being autistic is a bad thing. I hate it when people use autistic as an insult. And I'm not saying this as in a bad way at all. I'm not saying it. I'm not mad that he's a villain, because he becomes the Riddler. And one of the things I like is that even in his early performance, I mean, obviously if he's named Edward Nygma. So even if you like only know about the Riddler, you can probably guess Enigma. Okay, that guy's probably going to become the Riddler. And he's like, his actually turning is actually really tragic, and it really got to me. And his again, he's just such a like adorable nerd. He kind of like sneaks up on people accidentally, like he doesn't mean to, and there's a lot of touches like that, and then he turns evil in ways that are believable, and also really sad to watch. And it's not just like, oh, I'm evil now. It's like you can see him starting, and you can see it even in, even though he is an adorable nerd who doesn't do anything bad at first, there's something off-ish about him. Like you can tell that under the right circumstances he's definitely gonna fall. So Corey Michael Smith, if you're watching, my delusions of grandeur just keep getting bigger. Next is gonna be like George Clooney. If you are watching this show, first of all, why anyway? I don't know why I thought of George Clooney. I don't know. I mean, I've seen him and stuff, and he's all right. Anyway, so Corey Michael Smith, if you're watching, you did a great job. And again, I'm not. I actually think we should have. I actually would like more autistic villains. There's actually a really narrow range of autistic representation in media, even in stuff like To the Moon, which I adore. And it does subvert a lot of tropes about autistic people, but River's amazing, and so is Izzy. And spoiler, like kind of spoiler again. Like I'm not going into specific plot points, but Johnny's kind of an asshole. Yeah. So anyway. But it is nice to again. He's not a villain because he's autistic, but the autism is a part of like why he like talks the way he does, and he becomes evil. But again, not because of autism. Anyway. So Corey Michael Smith's portrayal was really great, and it was kind of. I don't know if I can't remember if it like made me think like, oh man, all the other Riddler adaptations are really uninteresting, or not adaptations but portrayals are really uninteresting, or if it was the other way around, if I was like, oh man, they're all uninteresting, and that's why Corey Michael Smith is so great when I started watching the show. Again, I can remember the actor's name, and I haven't seen him in like anything else. I haven't seen Gotham in years. Yeah, so so the Batman again, finally. So going off on a big tangent and reining it back in, but I think. Well, I think the idea of the Riddler as autistic, he's first of all like always kind of feels like he's the most, you could make him autistic and it would be the most believable. And I also think the idea of, if you look at it through that lens, if he is going to be, again, we don't even see him in this trailer. He definitely, he could, the idea of lies, autistic people we don't like lies. We don't like it when people like hide the truth from us. And we don't like not telling the truth. I do lie occasionally because it's something I picked up. I need to do a whole video about the problems with making autistic people try and assimilate. Resistance is futile. The lies. Also, it could just be a like everyone like about the politicians and the cops, and that's my interpretation of, if you are justice, please do not lie. What is the price for your blind eye? I think it's talking about. It might be talking about the Batman, but I think it's more likely that he's talking about pretty much in all Batman media except for like the campy '60s stuff, which I haven't seen. But there's generally an idea of all the politicians and all the cops in Gotham minus, as the majority of politicians and the majority of cops in Gotham are all bought, and they're all corrupt, and they're all just abusing their power constantly. And so that's what I think. That's what I think the reasoning is for what is the price for your blind eye. It's how much were you paid to hurt people and to abuse your power. I would argue that most power is. That's a whole nother topic. So what is the cost of? So that's my take on what is the cost of your blind eye. I would actually be really interested if you have an alternate take to let it know in the comments. And we haven't seen the movie yet. We haven't even seen the Riddler. Although I do know. Fantastic segue that I just ruined. I do know that the Riddler is going to be played by. I should have looked up his name before I started recording this, but he was if you've ever seen the excellent There Will Be Blood, he was the pastor who was constantly conflicting with Daniel Day-Lewis's character, and he is a piece of shit. Not the actor. I don't know like anything. Again, I can't even remember the actor's name, and I don't know anything about his personal life or his professional life or anything. So he might be a piece of shit for all I know, but he also might be like the nicest guy ever. Again, I have no idea. In the movie though, he is a huge piece of shit, and I can definitely see him as playing the Riddler. Yeah. Again, not much else to comment on there. I do want to talk about Robert Pattinson. I feel like, okay, so they announced that Robert Pattinson is going to be the Batman, and obviously most people know him from Twilight, which I actually have been meaning to revisit and re-examine. But I'll definitely talk about that when if slash when I ever do that. But it seems like an odd choice. Here, I'm just gonna do this. It seems like an odd choice. And I feel like there's this rush to defend him from criticism that he never received. So let me explain. Every time I brought him up, like in my own personal experience, if you've had people be like, no, Robert Pattinson's hashtag not my Batman or whatever, don't let me know, because this kind of not invalidate my argument, but it would weaken it somewhat. But in my personal experience, I haven't met a single person who was very who was like hashtag not my Batman, like Robert Pattinson will never be Batman or whatever. I think that, honestly, and again, I've seen so many comments on the internet of like, people thought Heath Ledger was going to be bad, which is absolutely true. Weird as it may seem in hindsight, especially if you're like me, did not, grew up thinking of Heath Ledger as the Joker. Dark Knight came out when I was like a child. And so, yeah, so, yeah, so again, there's this weird presumption that there's this massive outcry, and that I have not seen in my own personal experience. Again, I might be totally wrong, but just something that I think was interesting. I also want to talk about so apparently he did not actually bulk up for his role in Batman, and I actually thought that he lost weight, but I can't find anything that suggests that. So which is different. One of my cousins who's also pretty creative. I mean, he's writing a book right now. He's also very, he's much more into this whole Batman kind of fantasy thing than I am. But he talked about Christian Bale had to gain a bunch of pounds in muscle in order to play Batman, and that was so cool. And it is true that obviously I'm sure that Batfleck had to get beefed up for his role, and I actually do like the idea of Robert Pattinson not beefing up for a lot of reasons. Since this is going to be this is, by all accounts, I mean, this looks like it's going to be much more of a slow burn detective story, which I am, again, totally here for, and which the rhythm makes a lot of sense for. I think that and so that it would be kind of weird if someone, super buff was walking around just solving, like Sherlock Holmes is never really super buff. He's in some portrayals, he's a really good fighter, but again, he's not a burly kind of guy. I also think, and this admittedly made more sense when I thought that he had actually lost weight for the role. I kind of can see the idea, this seems to be much more critical, or at least questioning of the idea of Batman. Again, I haven't seen the movie, might be totally wrong, but he is I also really like the idea that he is so consumed by his trauma and his quest for vengeance, that he is actually decaying, physically decaying and wasting away. Again, that might be totally off base. So, moving on, there's something else. I wanted to, so I first watched it, I watched Geeks of Color's video on Doom, or sorry, not Doom, Dune, not Doom, and I was like, that's actually interesting and pretty cool, and I am looking forward to Dune. And then I was like, oh yeah, they did one on the trailer on the Batman, and I was like, yeah, I'll give it a look. I wasn't that interested in the Batman trailer, and then I watched it and I was like, holy shit, this actually looks really good. This looks gothic. I'm Jekyllstein Gray. I love the Gothic. And what's interesting is one of the people on Geeks of Color. I don't know their names. Apologies. She said that that it looked gritty, and I don't disagree. But it also looked really kind of ethereal at the same time. Like it was gritty, but not like, it didn't feel like gritty realism. It felt like gritty kind of stylism, or again, it's got this etherealness to it that I think is really interesting. Is that everything about the Batman that I wanted to talk about? That's all I can remember. Yeah, it does kind of feel like Watchmen. Again, it felt more like the teaser trailer, at least as I remember. Not as much of this. Actually, there was way less similarity between the trailers than I thought there was going to be. So, more you know, I guess. So let's see. Wonder Woman 1984. I'm not. It's weird because I adored the first Wonder Woman movie. Again, besides the third act, which was a bit weird. But it was amazing. And again, like even you can ignore the part about Wonder Woman being a woman, which is not which you shouldn't ignore, and it's a story that wouldn't really work if she wasn't a woman. At least I don't know. It would be very different if it was like a starring and directed by a man. That's what I should say. But it's also, again, like on its own merits, just a great movie. The idea that feminists are like trying to like make all the bad movies look good is not true. I don't think very many feminists were hot for Elektra. The idea of a really bad Catwoman movie that does not exist, or a Supergirl movie that does not exist either. And I don't think Elektra exists. Anyway, so that's the whole... I spend way too much time like watching alt-right response videos, poking fun and holes in all their ridiculous claims. It's not that hard. Wonder Woman 1984 feels it looks interesting, a bit weird. The thing with Steve Trevor, again, I've got mixed feelings about. On the one hand, I love Chris Pine, best Hollywood Chris. Fight me, Scrublords. Chris Pine's great, and it looks like there's going to be a lot of great humor. I do love like Fish Out of Water, like, like Captain America's like, notebook, with all the stuff in it. You have to catch up on all the things you missed, in what is still the past, from our point of view. I feel like it's not gonna. It feels like it's not gonna expand the story though. Like I'm definitely gonna do like videos about all these movies after I see them. But it feels like Steve, like it's just gonna be a rehash. Obviously he's not there again, or there's some like reason that he there's some reason that he's not there. In like if she was still with him, he would have shown up in Batman v Superman and Justice League. So on the one hand, I can see the like, okay, she has to like let go. She kind of couldn't let go in the first movie, and she has to let go. But then again, if she it can't be about letting go, because in Batman v Superman, not Batman v Superman, Justice League, she's really hung up about him, which admittedly is way more believable now that we know that she did see him in 1984, which actually brings me to, okay, so I have very little familiarity with comics, with comics in general. I dabble in comics. I love Watchmen, and I love a lot of comic book characters, but I don't know a lot about, I haven't delved a lot, like Superman, I've read like, Man of Steel, which was it was all right. I really liked Secret Identity. If you haven't read Secret Identity, go check it out. It's neat. I have even less familiarity with Wonder Woman comics. And again, that's kind of weird because I mentioned in the video I recorded yesterday, basically. Take your reprimand with you. I mentioned in the video I recorded yesterday that I didn't. I was actually like, I remember being bullied as like a kindergartner because I liked Wonder Woman. So yeah, so I do like Wonder Woman. The and the how do I put this? But yeah, but I've never been like a huge DC fan or Wonder Woman fan specifically. So I don't know. I know nothing about the Cheetah. I think she was in Injustice, which I did play both of the campaigns, but I don't remember her. Like I remember, I think that she was there, but again, I don't remember her. Again, I thought that Kristen Wiig was going to be the comic relief. And I don't want to like sound too harsh on Kristen Wiig. None of the stuff that she's in has personally like impressed me, or made me like super like. It might just be that her comedy style is not for me. Again, I don't think she's a bad comedian or a bad actress or whatever. I did enjoy Ghostbusters 2016. Not to open that can of worms again. I actually have not seen the original, so I didn't have any point in comparison, and it was good. It wasn't amazing, but it was fine. Oh wow, I am already almost to the length of time that I spent talking in the animation video, and it's gonna go way over, but I got more time this time, so that's good. Sorry. So the cheetah is again, I don't know anything about her, and I am interested to see Kristen Wiig in that role, because again, I was like, oh, she's gonna be like this is gonna sound terrible, but this is all I can remember. Well, okay, I'll use I think his name is Luis Pena, the guy from Ant-Man. I was gonna talk about the guy from Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home, and I couldn't remember his name, and I was just gonna refer to him as like Spider-Man's Hispanic friend, and like, again, if there's something really wrong with what I just let me know in the comments. I want to hear myself be criticized, because that's the only way I can grow and improve. Don't lie to me. Don't try and pretend everything's okay if it's not okay. So anyway, I felt like she was going to be the equivalent of that kind of character, the comic relief, like, I guess kind of like Rhodey, although Rhodey, he's War Machine. He does have, and so having her be the villain was, in the trailer that we watched, I was like, wait, what? Oh, okay. Again, I haven't seen her in a lot. None of her stuff really impressed me, but I don't think she's bad, and I'm interested to see how she handles a more dramatic role. What's his face? Pedro Pascal is Maxwell Lord, who, the name sounds really familiar. I think he was a character in Supergirl, which I didn't watch a lot of. I watched like the first 3 seasons of Arrow, and the first like season and a half of Flash, and I have no experience with Legends of Tomorrow or what's the other one? Oh, Supergirl. I think that's all of them. Batwoman, I can't tell if it was actually bad or if it was, that's the problem with review bombing and with these toxic fan bases, is legitimate criticism gets buried. Gets buried under like all this thing. Like there are legitimate criticisms of The Last Jedi, but the problem is, it's hard for me to see something other than Kelly Marie Tran just getting bullied off of Twitter for daring to be for being a woman of color in a Star Wars movie. Let's just say what it is. Like even if people didn't like her character, I don't think she would have gotten bullied off of Twitter or I don't know what site it was. I don't think she would have gotten bullied off of social media if she had been a man, or especially a white man. So anyway, so I think Batwoman's in the DCU. I love the idea of a Batwoman show, especially after what happened with the Killing Joke, which I need to read. I have not read, but I definitely can see the criticism of it. Yeah, so because I do know the basic, outline, and I know the thing with Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, and that and all that. So the idea of so again, the idea of Batwoman is, again, I'm going on a total tangent here. The idea of Batwoman is great. I feel like the universal low scores at review, it's like that to me speaks to the fact that there is actually serious problems with it, in terms of narrative structure or acting or whatever. I don't know. I haven't seen it, and I don't really want to see it, at least not until all of this stuff dies down. Anyway, so when the first episode of Watchmen came out, I was pretty disappointed, and I was like, but then I see this review of someone's saying it's not Watchmen, it's Wokeman, and first I'm like, wow, I wish I could. It's like, wow, you're so clever. and it's like, I don't want to be associated with this guy, I'm probably a guy. So anyway, that's okay. Enough about Watchmen and Batwoman. We're talking about the other trailers. So let's see what else we got. Dune. I can't think of anything other outside of 1984. Oh, one thing I do want to mention is I feel, I have very little familiarity. I think this is why I was bringing up my lack of familiarity with Wonder Woman comics, because I think it was I thought it was in Dan Olsen's piece on Justice League, but I think, looking back, I think it was Renegade Cuts DCEU videos. Here, let me unplug my phone since it's fully charged. He mentions the idea. He brings up the idea that she might have seen him in 1984, and for context, I had no idea about any. I don't think there had been a trailer for 1984. I mean, the movie made gangbusters, and I think they had already officially announced the sequel, but I had no idea that was even a possibility. And I wonder if it is, if it was a thing in the comics. Let me know, because I have no idea. I have no idea about the how do I put this? I have no idea about what it was like in the comics. It seems like there was some people who knew what the comics were about could theorize that was what was going to happen. I don't know. I'm probably more skeptical of Wonder Woman than I should be. Patty Jenkins is I'm just going to say it. Patty Jenkins is the only truly great female director that I can name off the top of my head. And I'm going to clarify in a sec. I'm other than Kathryn Bigelow, who, as I love The Hurt Locker, and I love pretty much all of Kathryn Bigelow's work, although I think I've only seen The Hurt Locker. Anyway, I love The Hurt Locker. And I think it definitely deserved its Academy Award win. I think it's telling, though, that the first movie directed by a woman to win Best Picture and I think Best Director was about mostly entirely men. And again, Kathryn Bigelow is a great director, and she does have a really good view on masculinity and its societal impacts and all that. That's kind of her thing. So again, then I was thinking, when I mentioned, it was like Patty Jenkins and Kathryn Bigelow were the only great female directors I could think of. Then I was like, yeah, Greta Gerwig. I haven't seen Lady Bird or Little Women. I've seen the one with Christian Bale with Batman as Laurie, and I loved it. I do love those old. I like Little Women. I love Anne of Green Gables. Actually, I've got the here. Hold on. Sorry, I'm just gonna put this down. I do want to show you this. Just a sec. Sorry about that. So I've got this DVD of the 1985. What's her name? Megan Follows version. So part of it was that I grew up around it. Anyway, I do need to talk about those. One of the things that you do when you grow up in a majority female household is that you see a lot of rom-coms and stuff, and some of them are great. A lot of them are not, at least not from my perspective. And but I wouldn't call Anna Green Gables a rom-com. Anyway, okay, this is supposed to be about superheroes. Stay focused, Jekyllstein. Stay focused. Here, let me get the mic back. Sorry if you couldn't hear me as well. So I feel like I'm more skeptical of 1984 than I should be, if that makes any sense. Like, I think it's going to be better than I got the impression from the trailers. I will definitely, watch it. Just release it on HBO Max. I have a subscription, and I will totally watch it. I'll watch it like 5 times if that's what it takes. Just don't do a Disney and don't release it for $30 plus subscription and all that. So there's that. I might have something else to say. I might have to do an addendum for this. I feel like there's more about specifically the Batman that I have not brought up, but I'm not gonna waste your time trying to remember that stuff, especially since I already moved on. So let's see. Now I think that brings us finally to Black Widow, and I don't have much to say here, honestly. I'm not familiar with the Marvel comic. I'm way less even familiar with the Marvel comics than with DC. I have no idea. I know the vague stuff about her backstory, and it was really interesting. And I do love Cold War spy thrillers, which is looking like what this is going to be. So yeah, I'm finally glad that she finally gets her own solo movie after a literal decade since she first showed up in Iron Man 2. And I, people have been calling for it for a while. It's a shame that the incident has ruined everything, because it should have been out already, and it's not. They're probably going to release it for $30 or $40, or I don't know. They're going to release it for as much money as they can make. So ironically, I said that this was going to be much longer than the animation video, and that's actually not turning out to be true, because I don't have much else to say. Again, a lot of it is unfamiliarity with the source material or the previous director's works. I don't know. I don't know anything Matt Reeves done. I think that is one thing I've been meaning to bring up. I don't know anything Matt Reeves did. I heard that he did the second and third Planet of the Apes, and I really want to watch Planet of the Apes. That does look like it's up my alley, at least. Specifically, I want to watch the 1968 version and the prequels. He did the second and third prequels, which I heard were good. So, Pattinson looks really cool. Joker's good. Catwoman. There's going to be Catwoman, which is nice. Again, I really wish they would make a Catwoman movie. That was really good. Unfortunately, there has never been a Catwoman movie, good or bad. There has never been a Catwoman movie. There has never been a Catwoman movie. Oh man, there was I just watched there was a 30 Rock episode last night, where due to a long series of circumstances, Liz Lemon accidentally ends up in a fight club, and it's so funny. There's a scene where I actually have not seen Fight Club. That is one thing that I have been meaning to watch. There's a lot of things I haven't seen. Okay. But there's a part where she's like, I had to find my way out of a fight club, and I was like, I like yelled at the screen, and my family was there. I was like, you broke the first rule. You broke the first rule. Yeah. So I think that's everything. Colin Farrell's going to be the Penguin. I can definitely see that. I don't know. Not an insult to Colin Farrell. I think Colin Farrell is a pretty good actor. I really liked him in Saving Mr. Banks, which I also really need to talk about. Yeah, so I feel like there's more I gotta say. I feel like I didn't say enough. I mean, Black Widow, I didn't feel anything. I guess I talked a decent amount about Wonder Woman. I mean, part of it is I feel like I did actually mention the kind of broad strokes when I was watching the trailers. David Harbour. I guess David Harbour's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting to see him be. Isn't he Russian? Is he playing a Russian? Again, I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Yeah. So I guess that's it, guys. The best way to end a video. Yeah, I guess I'm done. I don't have anything else. I do think that I will do an addendum or something if there's something that I desperately need to talk about. If I remember, and I'm like, oh god damn it, I can't believe I didn't bring that up. Yeah, so I am actually excited for superhero movies again, and kind of movies in general. I am not a big film guy. I'm much more of a games and like kind of TV guy, but I do love, and like gothic literature guy, obviously. I'm Jekyllstein Gray. And but I do like movies. I really like movies. Actually, just want to say, just because, go watch Pan's Labyrinth, go watch Star Trek, 2, 3, and 4, and go watch, Star Trek 4 is kind of what I need right now. It's kind of the only, I joked it's like the only thing keeping me happy. It's the only thing that gives me hope anymore. Go watch Chernobyl, HBO's Chernobyl. If you haven't, obviously, don't get an HBO subscription just because I said so. I would feel very scared if that happened. But if you have an HBO subscription, watch Chernobyl and watch Watchmen. Watch the Watchmen. Yeah. So, movies. I'm excited for them. Hopefully, Parasite. Parasite's really good. Parasite is really, really good. Anyway, I know no shit, Sherlock. And I should talk about that whole thing. Yeah. So, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Share it with your friends if you like it, if you're enemies if you didn't. Ring the bell if you want to be notified about future videos I do, which is actually really regularly. Again, I'm thinking about like just getting some lunch and then recording another Dark Knights with Poe and Monroe video. I don't think I have time to do Tacoma Part 2, but that is coming. I have not given up on that. And then I'm going to do Gone Home later for my homework communism, and hopefully it will work this time. And the To the Moon video is still, obviously I had to delete a whole bunch of videos, and those are gone. Those are, I'm leaving them up as private videos. Just because, if you want to use the footage, let me know. I will let you use the footage, free of charge. Just take it. I don't want to see it anymore. So yeah, if you want to use my footage for my XCOM or Ritual of the Moon or whatever videos, let me know. Okay, so otherwise, let's see. Yeah, do the leave a comment again. I really want to hear your thoughts about what you said, and if you have like, I do want to hear myself be criticized. I want the things I say and do to be criticized, because again, that's the only way I'm ever gonna grow. As an artist, like, which I guess you can argument that I am. I do write occasionally, or and just as a person. Yeah. So, yeah. You can follow me out. I'll put a link to my Letterboxd and Twitter in the account, and I need to talk about Hunger Games. Oh man, okay, no. That's a whole other. I was gonna say the Hunger Games, just in case you were wondering. But that's a whole nother topic. Yeah. So check out check out my Twitter and Letterboxd in the description down below. I think there's going to be a playlist somewhere up here of my Let's Play series that I started. That this channel was basically started for. Yeah. Click the video. There should be a video somewhere. I'm still getting used to the idea that this is somewhere over here. I'm still getting used to the nature of this series. I think this mirrors my stuff. So there should be a video up here that'll do the thing. You've probably already gone by now, and I don't blame you. Subscribe, do all the stuff. Alrighty, I've been Jekyllstein Gray, esteemed viewers. I will probably record another Lessons Animation Sawdust, hopefully tonight, once I get my stuff done. And yeah, so until then, goodbye.